Hello, and welcome to Kimia Academy. Shams al-Din Mohammad Tabrizi appears in history like a flash of lightning, vivid, disruptive, and hard to pin down. What we know with confidence is less a tidy biography and more a spiritual footprint above all, his intense encounter with Jalal al-Din Rumi. In this short talk, we'll meet Shams as a person, a teacher, and a legacy. Shams lived in an era of upheaval and movement. Intellectual life was thriving across Persian-speaking lands and Anatolia, while politics and migration reshaped cities like Konya. In that setting, Sufi masters, wandering dervishes, and scholarly jurists often shared the same urban spaces and sometimes collided. Shams's story makes sense only in that vibrant, contested world of learning and devotion. Shams is famous partly because he resists biography. Later hagiographies and traditions preserve anecdotes, but they don't always agree, and modern scholars regularly caution against treating every story as literal history. Instead, Shams comes into focus through the effects he had on others, especially Rumi, and through the sayings attributed to him in the Maqalat, his collected discourses. Across accounts, Shams is portrayed as spiritually intense and socially unconventional, someone who challenged people's piety, prestige, and comfort. Whether the stories are fully factual or partly symbolic, the pattern is consistent. Shams teaches by unsettling. He pushes seekers away from status and toward direct experience, toward what Sufis call presence, sincerity, and the stripping away of ego. Shams was a wandering dervish whose unique personality revealed to Rumi the secrets of divine glory and beauty. After that first meeting, Rumi's life was reoriented around a fundamental spiritual relationship. Theirs was not simply a meeting of master and disciple, but a catalyst that reorganized Rumi's inner life and, soon, his public identity. Shams and Rumi spent long periods in passionate conversations. This closeness caused jealousy and confusion among some of Rumi's disciples. Shams left Konya more than once, either by choice, by force, or because of danger. The end of Shams' story is ambiguous. Later accounts include accounts of disappearance and murder, while modern historians emphasize the uncertainty. Shams's main surviving work is not a polished book, but a collection of discourses compiled from remembered conversations. The Maqalat is crucial because it gives us Shams' voice, outspoken, Quranic-centered, and uncompromising about inner transformation. In the Maqalat, Shams returns to a few themes with relentless force: the oneness of God, the unreliability of the ego, and love as a demanding spiritual discipline, not sentimentality. He treats religion as lived realization, not performance. And he insists that real guidance should change you. It should burn away self-deception and replace it with clarity, humility, and courage. After Shams, Rumi is reborn as a mystic poet. He names his great collection of ghazals after his master and spiritual beloved, Divan-i Shams, honoring him as the hidden sun from which the poems draw their light. Again and again, Rumi speaks Shams's name instead of his own, turning verse into an offering of love, devotion, and transformation. In Rumi's later works, Shams becomes more than a person. It becomes a symbol of illumination, truth that makes everything else visible. Even scholarly notes on the Mevlevi highlight wordplay around Shams as sun, signaling how deeply the name functions in Rumi's spiritual vocabulary. The human teacher becomes, in poetry, a doorway to the divine. Kimia Khatoon, often remembered as Rumi's stepdaughter, was married to Shams Tabrizi, sometimes described as an attempt to calm tensions within Rumi's household. These accounts belong to the uncertain lore surrounding Shams's disappearance, where stories multiply and certainty fades. Shams endures because he represents a recognizable spiritual type, the teacher who refuses to be managed, the friend who forces transformation, the outsider who becomes indispensable. Through Rumi's poetry, especially the Divan named for him, Shams becomes globally known as the catalyst of one of the world's great mystical voices. And through the Maqalat, he remains a challenging speaker in his own right. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to explore Iranian history, literature, and culture more deeply, we invite you to join Kimia Academy. Our goal is to make learning accessible, meaningful, and connected to the richness of Persian heritage. If you have any questions about this video or how to continue learning, we'd be happy to help. Thank you again.